A lot of people got into Gumball towards its later seasons, but I'm a big fan of its earlier seasons as well, so today I want to show you why Season 1 stands up there with the rest by talking about the dress. This episode is sponsored by the two stickers I have, one being the Alpha sticker, a sticker of my logo if you want to put it on your laptop, phone case, wherever you'd like, and the other being the very juice I need to survive, bamboo juice. It's super crazy addictive and now it's in sticker form, immortalized for anyone to get. So go to alphaj.show/merch and make sure to check out them or any other designs that you may like. So the episode starts off with him getting ready for school, but unfortunately for Gumball he has no clothes due to his dad's ignorance. I love how Richard in these very early episodes is less dumb but more aloof. All throughout the episode, he comes across more like a dad trying to help, but is too incompetent to do many things the right way, rather than what he would turn into in the later seasons. I also just love the snappy animation that Season 1 had. Maybe it's my eyes playing tricks on me, but it feels a lot snappier, which helps with the slapstick heavy comedy focus that the earlier seasons had. So Gumball confronts his dad about clothes, while naked mind you, and this happens.
Kinda tight too.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Whoa! You know how your mother feels about public nudity.
You know, I agree. I wouldn't want a naked child in my backyard. But where were you 5 seconds when it happened? Fortunately, even though Richard wasn't supposed to do the laundry, did, and made it smaller than the run of Bunsen is a Beast on Nickelodeon, we have...
Mom's wedding dress? I can't wear that.
Please, son, do this for your old dad.
Okay, I'll wear the dress.
And you can kind of see the personality that I'm talking about with Richard in this episode. He comes across as having good intentions even if his efforts are not the best. In fact, it's something that would come full circle in episodes like The Choices. We get to the dress, something that gives Gumball a new look and thus a new perspective from his peers. It's funny because this isn't the only episode in Season 1 alone that would take a common item and use it for an outrageous amount of power. In the episode The Helmet, Gumball would get a lucky tinfoil helmet that would keep him out of trouble, no matter if the trouble was intentional or unintentional. Even though I wouldn't say it's a novel concept, the way that it's handled here in the dress is entertaining, and it doesn't feel like a lot of what I've seen before. Also because it's Season 1, Gumball hasn't become full-on cynical yet, so his character is still naive and a lot closer to being a kid. I know a lot of people love the meta humor and the snarkiness of the show, but coming from someone who watched day one, I can tell you that that wasn't what the show was really about. Maybe it was the show coming into its element. I'm not on the team, so I'm not sure, but Gumball and Darwin are akin to like really early SpongeBob and Patrick. Just trying things, being curious, and that naivety leading them into adventures, even if it is against themselves. So Gumball, who's in a dress, meets with his friends, who see him as the new pretty girl. What's also interesting about this episode is that unlike That's No Lady, a similar episode from SpongeBob, the episode doesn't build it up to be all the guys going after Gumball, but rather everyone having the same amount of admiration for Gumball and then just a certain someone, just one person, just having a lot more.
She dropped her button. Oh boy.
Oh, and Anais is a straight man in all of this, or straight girl, straight kid, whatever you want to call it. Can we also talk about how she thinks she's smart, but the bus leaves without her and Darwin? Also, what kind of button falls off a dress like that? We set the seeds for Darwin's increasing infatuation with Gumball. I know this happens later in the episode, but in addition to Darwin's pretty good drawing skills, he can also sing and defend. He's a great guy.
Psst. I forgot to do my homework. Can I copy yours?
You can copy mine.
No, mine. How about mine?
Shh, will all of you keep it down? You can't copy the homework if everyone's like, oh, here, take my homework to copy. But who am I kidding? Like, Princess Subtlety here is just sitting in the front row to copy homework. So in the same fashion as everyone else, Miss Simeon sees a dress and thinks it's a new person and gives her special privileges that no one else seems to mind because they're just in awe with how pretty Gumball is. It's funny that I also talked about Information Superhighway a while back, where I talk about how parents were just generally absurd with how they open doors. That same level of wackiness is here. It's just funny to see everyone in awe of Gumball, so much that they don't realize that they're all inconveniencing themselves.
I'm back. Can I sit next to you?
Stop!
there's a puddle.
Holy crap, this man's a sorcerer. He ran in front of everyone, he summoned a puddle just to have Gumball Oops Egg Wobble Underpants walk all over it. Screw trying to help her, just use your water bending. I mean, if I can bend water, I'd do more than summon a puddle. So Gumball's still somewhat confused at why he's getting special treatment, realizes that his disguise is giving him said powers and abilities, and thus exploits it, as any cartoon character would. And if you didn't know, quite a few characters in season 1 changed their look dramatically, so it's always neat to look back at how somewhat unpolished season 1 was. As many people may say, it looks a little too uncanny. I couldn't tell you I was bothered by it. This is also the creepiest Darwin has ever been with a girl, well, willingly. Even though Darwin would have a few romantic interests throughout the series, I'm very glad they toned down his creepy factor. And speaking of creepy,
It's just like you said. All day long, people have been bending over backwards for me.
Hey, new girl. How's it going?
the only thing small about this situation is the line between a greeting and the reason you're not allowed 50 miles near any elementary school. I do want to say, everyone's admiration of Gumball and then Darwin's infatuation are two distinct things in this episode. Like, you couldn't confuse them. It's clear that only Darwin has that level of affection for. However, in true season 1 Gumball nature, he was aloof about his dress until he was told, and now he's aloof about his crush. Until, well, he's shown.
What I really mean is, what? I love you.
Wait a minute, doesn't that picture appear in the beginning of the episode? First we have waterbenders, now we have time shapers, like what's going on here? So now that Gumball is fully aware of the situation, he's now determined to stop it. I know some people would probably think that Richard also being confused about who this disguised person who looks like Gumball is, but again, I look back to the fact that he was aloof, and would easily be persuaded to think that that's not Gumball, even within the span of under a day. Again, that's just his character. So they devise a plan to get out of this mess, where disguised Gumball is leaving for Europe. There's a certain charm when it comes to early Gumball. They're all just standing out here in front of this very amateur looking banner, and Rocky would help Gumball make this ruse convincing. When you peel back the dark, cynical, snarky nature of the later seasons, it was this season that built the foundation. And I think it shouldn't be overlooked because it wasn't at its peak. Yes, it would get better than season 1, but season 1 isn't that bad.
I love this special only comes around once in a lifetime. We must nurture it, take care of it, let it grow and blossom like a potato? A potato!
Gumball may be a cat, but if you're saying that love like this only comes once in a lifetime, then you're the one with 9 lives, dude. So of course, Darwin is sad, and Gumball is incredibly sloppy, so the plan kinda goes poop. The string cuts off in a very weirdly angelic way, and the balloon hits a very, very, very close sun. I'm surprised Gumball's clothes didn't burn off from the sheer closeness of a star. The episode cleverly wraps up the sadness Darwin goes through in a very quick manner, then redirects it to more jokes. The payoff that Gumball was trying to cover everything up by being naked, and
I know this is a bit sudden. I mean, we hardly know each other, but I think I love you.
episodes like this is what got me hooked on Gumball, and I'm always going to be a fan. This was the dress. I love it. It's one of the highlights of season 1. When Gumball is talked about, often it's not the first season. And I hope with a review of a great season 1 episode, it will encourage you to check it out. Also, remember to check out the stickers I mentioned earlier by going to alphaj.show/merch and get yourself official Alpha J merch. If you like this video, I recommend you watch all of my Gumball reviews. I'd recommend the one where I talked about the web. Anyway, special thanks to the patrons of July, and until next time, take care. Alpha out.